Who? Cade? We don't know. We're kind of trying to figure it out. So, did we do the sum or difference of cubes? Okay. Okay, so we'll do sum and difference of cubes, and then we'll do grouping, and then we'll get into the fractional expressions, and that's a nice, easy review for you guys. So if you have a to the third minus b to the third, well, quick question. Does the difference of two squares factor? Yes. Does the sum of two squares factor? No. Does the difference of two cubes factor? Yes, and it factors to a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. And if you have a to the third plus b to the third, does the sum of two cubes factor? That does as well. It factors to a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared. So this really isn't that bad to remember. Square is the front, square is the back. The front part's easy because it's exactly what's out here. The only difference is you have to remember that if it's minus here, it's minus here, but then plus. If it's plus here, then it's plus, then minus. That's really the only part you got to remember, so not too bad. Okay, so let's do it. This is we like to call this plug and chug or cookbook recipe. You just, plug it in and see what you get. So what is A in this scenario for x to the third minus a? What is B? So now we just plug x and 2 in for the difference of two cubes. We get x minus 2 times what? The resulting trinomial rarely factors. It will never factor if it's a squared. If it's if you get like a, fourth power here, it might factor. If you get like a sixth power here, it might factor. But if you end up with squared, it won't factor. Okay. Go here, what's A? 2x. And what is B? So we have 2x and we have y squared. So now we're going to take and plug these into our formula. Our first binomial is just the 2 added together. What's the resulting trinomial? What's going to be the resulting trinomial? X to the fourth, or I'm sorry, 2x squared, or 4x squared, good. Good. Good job. That is the result. So you just got to plug it in and see the result. What do you think is the most common mistake that people make when they go through this process here? The plus or minus, that will be one. Also, when they square 2x, just like I said it 3 times, right? Got to square the 2 as well as the exponent, okay? So we end up with 4x squared. Any questions on sum or difference of cubes? Then we look at one final example. We won't do L, we'll just do K. But grouping. Grouping is a nice option. Generally, when you have 4 terms, you'll use a grouping method. You may not put a parenthesis down in front of a subtraction sign. So do not do this, because that changed the value from a -5 to +5 if I were to distribute that. Can't do that. So what I do instead is I rewrite the problem. X to the third plus 5x squared plus a -x minus a 5. So if I change it plus minus there, now I can put parentheses down in front. Okay? Some people might group different terms together as well. That's absolutely fine if you want to do that. I'm just showing kind of where mistakes could be made. What do you take out of the first set? X squared. And you're left with x plus 5. What do you take out of negative 1. So I can just write minus 1 if I want. Switch the signs as you factor that out. What do both those now share in common? X plus 5, which I will factor out. X squared minus 1. Does x plus 5 factor? Does x squared minus 1 factor? So on Friday, I gave you, what you could work on from 1.3. You didn't have the cube formulas or stuff. Again, you're going to have about 20 minutes to work today on stuff. We're going to cover just the first part of 1.4 that we got to in the other classes. And the challenge problems at the end. Again, if you want to try some of those and exchange other problems out, you sure can. Some of those will involve some factoring options. So, okay, flip the page over. This stuff goes pretty quick, pretty easy. Everybody likes it. We have fractional expressions. We're going to spend a couple days on this. So all the other lessons, we've just done one day. This is going to be a couple days because I can see into your future, and your future says that you need to be able to handle calculus, okay? And if you're going to handle calculus, you have to be able to handle more difficult problems. And calculus assumes that you know how to do any type of algebra that you would encounter. So for example, I will cover this problem later on with my calculus class. And when we do this, it will take up the entire 5 boards that we have here, okay? So it'll be pretty lengthy, okay? We're not going to do that kind of problem, but I have to have your ability to work with fractions to be really good. So today we're going to do the easy stuff. You're going to be like, oh yeah, this is easy. I like it. Tomorrow we're going to cover harder material. Okay? So let's give some of these basic ones a shot. Can I simplify 54x squared over 24x? How? Yep, except 4 doesn't divide evenly into 54. It's going to be 6, and I can take out an x. So I'm going to write the top as 6x times 9x. I'm going to write the bottom as 6x times 4. Are you allowed to cancel stuff off? Yeah, I could cancel off the 6x's because 6x over 6x is simply what? 1. And so you can see that 1 times anything is itself, so I simply have 9x over 4. Now, you don't have to write it out like that every time. I'm just showing you what happens mathematically. That's the property that takes place. So 9x over 4 is the correct answer. Does anybody circle their answers? So in grade school, you make circles. In high school, you box. Big leagues. Right, Zach? Oh, yeah. 8x squared times x minus 3 over 4 times x minus 3. Are you allowed to cancel the x minus 3's? Yep, because they're written as multiplication, so I can cancel those off. I'm left with 8x squared over 4. What happens there? Very good. 8 over 4 is 2. Done and done. For a problem like C, what do I have to do first? How do I create parentheses? What do I do? Starts with an F, rhymes with actor, factor. Very good. So if we take out a 5 out of the top, what are you left with? X minus 4. What common factor can you remove from the bottom? 10x. When you remove a 10x, you're left with? That x minus 4 is good, isn't it? We can now cancel those pieces off. 5 over 10x results in 1 over 2x. What might people be tempted to do for problem D right away? Yeah, people might want to do this. What happens if you do that? Get your finger cut off. Yep, we had a few people got their finger cut off today. I don't do it, but Miss Nelson likes to teach according to fear and intimidation. It's just That's why she is. She can't really help it. So, yeah, don't get your fingers cut off. Start by factoring. What does the top factor to? Difference of two squares. Bottom factors to x minus 2 and x minus 3. Am I now allowed to cancel? Yep, everything's written as multiplication of x plus 3 over x minus 2. Does anything change if you're multiplying? No. Some people like to do it this way. Some people like to say, oh, I'll write it twice. So some people like to go 3 over 9 is 1 over 3, and 4x over 2x is 2 over 1. They take their 1 times 2 is 2, and their 1 times 3 is 3. If you want to do it that way, that's fine. I had other people last hour, they were saying they want to do the 3 times the 4x to get 12x, the 2x times 9 to get 18x, and then they wanted to reduce it. It doesn't matter. I don't care which way you do. It doesn't matter to me at all. How about B? What can I do right away? Good. Cross off your x plus 2's. So I have 4 times x minus 1 over 12. Now what? Reduce 4 over 12 to get? Good. What should I do first for C? Factor. How does 9x plus 3 factor? That was horrible. 3 times 3x plus 1. The bottom is 3x plus 1 already. How does x squared minus 25 factor? Plus 5 and minus 5. What cancels? 3x plus 1's, x plus 5's, 3 over x minus 5. Do D on your own. So this is correct, x minus 1 over x plus 1, but you tell me what might people be tempted to do with this problem now? Get rid of the x's, and what would they then write down for an answer? -1. So when you're considering to write down an answer like -1, you're wondering if you went too far, just plug in a number like 7. What's 7 minus 1? 6. What's 7 plus 1? 8. Is 6 over 8 the same as -1? No, so therefore you know that that can't be true. So just stop with what you have in blue. Any questions on the front? Is that nice and easy? Okay, we'll get more difficult tomorrow, but today should be a pretty straightforward, easy stuff for you. Okay, let's go to backside. And we'll do A, B, C, and D. When you divide, what must you do? Which one? 6 divided by 2 is the same thing as 6 times 1 over 2, right? So you can multiply by a reciprocal and maintain equality. All right? So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to take 2x over 3 and multiply it by 12 over 6x squared. Now it becomes just like the problems we saw. 24x over 18x squared. Or 24 and 18 both divisible by. 3 and 6, we'll take the larger of the two, 6, and they both have an x. We'll divide a 6x out of each, up to 4 over 3x. Question? You can cross, that's fine. Do whatever you want. So to save space, I generally do this. I write it down right away, and just cross it off, make a multiplication. So what cancels right away? The 1s and the 2s leaves you with x times x plus 2. If you would like to write that as x squared plus 2x, go ahead. Your answer book might leave it either or. Okay? You have to know that they are equal in value. Okay? Know that they are equal in value. There are a couple answers in the answer book that are incorrect. So if you do come across one that you really think is wrong, let me know and we can double check it. I know we found one from 1.1, I believe. So. Okay, why don't you try C and D on your own? Okay, try C and D on your own. Any questions? If you're still finishing up, that's fine. For the first one, you should have x minus 1 times x minus 3. Some people don't like that they're multiplied together. They write them over each other because they're used to answers coming up like that. Doesn't have to be. So this is fine. If you want to write this as x squared minus 4x plus 3, that's fine too. I don't care. Generally, it's easier to leave them in factored form because something might cancel. And the last one should be this. Questions going once? Twice? Yes. Yep. That would be fine too. Do you want to distribute that 3? Okay, so some people are already all caught up with their homework. They want to work on a new assignment. I'll post it. If you don't get through this new assignment, that's fine. We're spending 2 days on 1.4, okay? So don't worry about it. There's some stuff on this assignment that we haven't covered yet. Some people still wanted to do it. That's fine. But just note that you have about 25 minutes, it looks like. So we went through that pretty quick. Got you some work time. There's the assignment for 1.4. I'll put it up on the board as well. And the rest of the time is yours to ask questions, help you with any issues that you're having, and kind of feel good about where you're at. So, all right.